Hi everyone, hi, welcome to this Facebook Live. I was going to talk about the anxiety model today, and I realised I talked about that already maybe a month or so ago, so I've changed it. I have decided to link these nice sticky dots that you can get from the stationers to Riding Confidence, which, if you remember in Confident to the Core, we did that in Module 4. And it's all to do with anchoring, something called anchoring. So let's have a little think about it. It's a really powerful set of techniques, anchoring. I'm going to show you and walk you through one type of anchoring tonight, and that's the one with the sticky dots. It's really, really great in being able to rewire how you think. So we really are changing neurology here. That's how powerful this set of techniques is. Sometimes things like swish will give you a fork in the road. It gives your mind a choice. Do you want the nice, pleasant picture, or do you want the slightly yucky picture? Whereas anchoring is actually changing the pathway that the nervous impulses are taking. So a very, very powerful technique. Let's have a little think about it. So anchoring can be, for example, linking, let's say music, let's say something auditory, linking the music to a really happy memory. So as soon as you hear the music, hi Gabby, as soon as you hear the music, it takes you back to a really happy time or a certain time in your life. Or you could think about, the smell of something that really recreates a memory for you. So for a rider, it could be just smelling haylage somewhere away from horses, and it just makes you think about horses again. Maybe it's smelling a certain perfume that somebody wears. It could be touching, and we'll talk a little bit about touch kind of links as well this evening. Seeing, so I'm going to talk about seeing one of these, not terribly clear, but seeing one of these stationary dots. And that can bring really great memories back. It can bring good feelings back as well. Any of the five senses, it could be taste, it could be smell, it could be sight, it could be hearing, which is the one that I've missed out, touch. And so any of those linked to a feeling or a memory. So all we need to do to set up this kind of anchor artificially, if you like, is to have our stimulus. We're going to have the sticky dots, or if you want to do this with me, you can use a touch, maybe the touch on your knuckle, or touching your finger and thumb together. So you can have a touch one, or you can have something that you can see. I'm going to talk a little bit about the sticky dots while I've got them here. And you think back to when you felt a particularly intense feeling. So if we're talking riding confidence, we want to think about confidence and success and motivation, determination. We might want to think about being in harmony. And as soon as we think about those feelings, if we look at our stimulus, or we do our touch stimulus, or we play some music, but we're not going to do that tonight, but you could do that, then it anchors the two things together. It links the two things together. So let's have a little think about the types of things that we can anchor, the types of feeling. And as I say, you can either do this by touching finger and thumb together, or you could touch your earlobe, just give your earlobe a little pinch, or you can do it on your knuckle, or we can do the sight of the nice dots, except they're not turning up very well at the moment, so maybe the touch one's going to be a little bit more powerful. Now the timing is key to getting this right. So as soon as you go into the feeling, and we're going to do the feeling one at a time. Let's say if we start with success, as soon as you start to feel like you would feel when you were successful, then you start to apply the anchor. So you start to touch the knuckle or pinch the earlobe. And as soon as that just gets past its peak, because you can't hold that feeling forever, because it's all in your mind, you're not getting a continuous stimulation, then you let go, or if you're doing the visual anchor, you just look away. When you've set up a number of these, then you've got a mixture of really powerful, intense emotions. Then you test the anchor by going back to doing your touch, wherever you've applied the anchor, or you have a little look at your sticky dots. Okay, so let's have a little go. And we're going to do 3 or 4 feelings. I'll do it on my earlobe, because usually I do knuckles, and I'm going to do earlobe just because, you know, these things get weakened. So if you touch your knuckle and you're maybe doing the washing up, washing your hands, then you're not really thinking really powerful, intense feelings necessarily. And what you're thinking is kind of getting laid on top of your anchor. So I'm going to do the earlobe one, because we don't tend to pinch our earlobes very often. You might be touching your earlobes gently to put an earring in, but you're not doing the full pinch. So I'm just going to do that one just for fun. So let's do a couple of examples, and then what you can do is you can always top yourself up with some really powerful feelings, some other feelings that you personally want to layer on top. Okay, so I'm going to do, well, let's do confidence. Confidence is always a good one. So you think about a time when you felt really totally confident, and it doesn't have to be to do with riding. It could be to do with anything at all. Now, if that's a stumbling block and you can't think of, oh gosh, when did I feel really super confident? Then you imagine it as best you can. So how would you be sitting or standing? What would you be thinking? How would you be holding yourself? What would be going through your body? What would you be feeling? And you sort of conjure it up in yourself. Okay, so get yourself into position if you're doing this along with me. So I'm just going to I'm not going to touch my earlobe as such. I'm just going to have my fingers poised there. And if it helps to close your eyes just to intensify it, because we want it as intense as we can get. I want you to think of a time when you were totally confident. I want you to go back to that time now. And as you go back to that time, or as you think about it in your imagination, start to think about how you feel when you're totally confident, what you normally see, what you hear, what you feel. And as soon as you start to feel it, just the first little inkling, start to apply your anchor, your chosen anchor, and just keep going with it. And I want you to feel so confident. As soon as it reaches that peak and starts to wane, you're going to take it away. But if you can keep going, just keep going and applying that anchor. If you're doing touch, press nice and firmly. So really confident, super confident. How did it feel to be really, really, really confident? Totally, totally confident. Keep going with it if you can. Keep going. Okay, mine's just gone over the peak. I'm just on the wane. I'll just wait a few moments in case you're still going with your really intense anger. Okay, let's do another one. So how about something like determination? So we do exactly the same again. I'm going to get into position and ready. I want you to think about a time, a specific time when you felt totally and utterly determined, really determined. If you don't have an example, just imagine what it feels like. Okay, so go back to that time. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel totally, totally determined. Really, really determined, and just keep going with it. Totally determined. Really, really determined. Keep going, keep feeling it throughout your body. Keep going. Keep just kind of conjuring it up and keep going with it. Keep going as long as you possibly can, as intense as you can. When it just starts to fade away, release the anchor. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do self-belief, that absolutely wonderful feeling that you have when you know you can totally believe in your own abilities. So I want you to think of a time, a specific time, when you knew that you could do something, when you were really, really confident and you had this really great self-awareness that you can just do this. Wonderful self-belief. I want you to go back to that time, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel total self-belief. And just keep going, keep feeling it, and apply your anchor as soon as you feel that you can believe in yourself totally and utterly, and keep going with it. And intensify it, amplify it, feel it in your body. Keep going with it, keep going, keep feeling it, keep going. As intense as you possibly can. Okay, mine's just faded away there. Okay, so we've stacked, if you've done it with me with your ear, we've stacked 3 feelings on there, 3 emotions. Now we're just going to do a little test. Normally we would stack 5 or 6. So as I say, you can go and do your own personal emotions. You can put some success on there. You can put some motivation, riding in harmony. You can do whichever ones you like, but we're going to test. So I'm going to just re-pinch my earlobe. If you were doing your knuckle, you're going to just start to press on the knuckle and just, you don't need to think about anything, just see what happens. Just see if those feelings are recaptured. It just kind of came back to you. And if it was quite kind of, subtle, then you need to apply some more until when you do apply the anchor again, it kind of comes back to you really strongly and you feel really good and really confident and motivated and determined and all those other wonderful, powerful emotions. So it helps if you've got something that's really intense to think about, a memory that's really intense as you're applying that anchor, because that means you don't have to apply so many. And when you recall it, it comes back in spades. So it's all the power of the imagination, really, and the memories, getting yourself a really good set of anchors. Now, how on earth is this going to help you when you ride or before you ride? So if you're not in the most positive frame of mind, if you've got an anchor set, you can just kind of subtly, kind of very discreetly pinch your earlobe, or just kind of touch your knuckle without people really knowing what you're doing. And it just gives you a nice set of resources when you're feeling not too resourceful. Now, the nice stickies, how do they come into this? Well, if you get yourself one of these sticky dots, if I just take one off here now, oops, stuck together. If you get yourself one of these and you look at it as you're thinking these powerful emotions, and you do it exactly the same way as the touch, it's just looking at it and then looking away as it starts to fade, then you've anchored looking at this dot with these powerful emotions. Why not then stick this little dot on the back of the headpiece of your bridle, so that as you're riding along, if you just need a little bit of a pep up, you can look at your sticky dot, poof, and you get those nice powerful emotions back. course, if you ever do look at the dot when you're not feeling too great, that'll get onto it, so it can be weakened. The thing with these resource anchors is that you need to just reapply them, and they take seconds to reapply. So really easy, really quick. Other things that you could anchor, you could try things like, I mean, I did this at the start. You could do your finger and thumb coming together. You could do that one. Anywhere that you can find easily, anything that is easy to repeat. So if you would just do the back of your hand, for example, you wouldn't know exactly where you'd pressed. So a knuckle is really good because that's pretty good pointy kind of point part of the body. Doing this thing or pinching your earlobes, again, are really easy to find, really easy to set up, and quickly, and as I say, kind of discreetly. Nobody really knows what you're doing, but you're going back to your anchor to give yourself a bit of a boost. So anchoring, really lovely technique, really powerful technique. I love the sticky dots on the back of the bridle, so that you've got something to do whilst you're riding, not just kind of like before you get on, but you've got something there that's a safety net, that's a nice little recall of all these positive times and positive emotions that you can use whenever, as I say, you're lacking a little bit maybe in positivity about your ride. So anchoring, I'm going to do in my Facebook group an anchoring system that we didn't do on Confident to the Core. It's in Practitioner. It's not really covered in great depth and detail in Practitioner, but I really like it, and it's a really fun one to do. So look out for that one, because I'm going to do that one next week. It's called Ring of Power, believe it or not. What a title. So have fun with anchoring. Post your questions if you have any. Also, let me know if there's any topics from Confident to the Core that you'd just like a little bit of help with, or if there's something in your riding that maybe you just need to recap or go back to or revisit, or you just need some help with something specific. Maybe it's the cantering, maybe it's going across open fields, maybe it's doing some jumping or competing. Just let me know what you would like in these little Facebook lives, and I will post soon enough. Okay, so great. Thanks for joining me. And if you're on the replay, thank you for watching. I will see you very soon. Take care and bye for now. Bye.